And we are back. Stop it. It's been so long since we had this kind of chat.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while. It's
Too
just that,
long.
yeah, I know. It's just that, well, we've had things happen in our own lives, and we've had to deal with quite a few other things financially and, well,
Personally.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I've been, doing a lot of work, got a new job. Yay, that's a positive.
yeah, it's always good. Always good.
Yeah, despite some negative things happened last year, I lived through them, and yeah, I'm persevering through them.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Steph, the other day was April Fool's Day, so let's talk about the best Fool's Day prank that we ever fell for, or one that we are
I
thought.
don't know about the best April Fool's joke, but I tell you the one that pissed me off the most.
Oh, I would like to hear this.
Oh, there was a YouTuber by the name of there is a YouTuber by the name of Beat 'em Ups
Uh huh.
who took it upon himself as part of April Fools to splice together and put together his own fake Nintendo Direct.
Oh.
And oh my gosh. Surprisingly, he actually did a really good job with it. I was really shocked at how realistic it looked. But there were still a few things in there that if you were paying attention real close, you actually, or if you had good eyes, you could actually see that it was fake. But
Oh yeah.
I mean, to the average audience who wouldn't know to look for that, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
You sent me the video. I was like, okay, this is like another game that I did not expect to see on the Switch.
I know. And so, yeah. So the first reveal was Super Nintendo games as part of the Nintendo Online service, and I was like, "Yay! This is fantastic! Oh my god!" Okay. Next review. Next preview. Persona 5 on the Nintendo Switch. I was like, "Oh yes, this is great!" And then it said Metroid Prime 4 with gameplay reveal. I was like, "Oh my god, yes, this is the most greatest Nintendo Direct ever!" And then it started getting a little bit weird and stuff, and I was like, okay, this is are we? Wait a minute, that was really good, but what's going on here? And then at the very end, he's like, yeah, that was the greatest Nintendo Director, and for anyone who still believes this is real, I am so very sorry. Please don't unsubscribe if you haven't already done so.
Yeah.
And I just like stared at the screen for about 2 minutes in silence, dead silence, and in my head there was a volcano erupting with lava everywhere, and the anger was becoming fire, and I was like,
man.
Now, I wouldn't say it pissed me off the most, but there was one other one. There's another YouTuber by the name of Arlo.
Not familiar with him.
Yeah, he basically he has a persona that he goes by the name of Arlo. It's basically like a little Muppet style puppet.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he's fun. He's cool. Anyhow, he did his own fake Nintendo Direct.
Oh god.
And most of the other stuff that he mentioned was like okay, so stuff, but one thing that caught my eye, that I mean, the rest of it was fine, but that one thing was just like the beat 'em ups, it chewed me the wrong way. And that would be Legend of Zelda Maker. Bundled with Super Mario Maker for the Nintendo Switch. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh my god. And the sucky thing is, if they release that, that's instantly $2 billion in user purchases right off day one.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guarantee you that would outsell the Smash Brothers, the game, hands down.
I know.
I mean, Zelda 1, NES Zelda 1, Maker, where it has all the same features as Mario, where you can play through it, you know, create your own levels and upload your own games and stuff like that, that would sell faster than anything else in the history of Nintendo.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was like hilarious. Like, really, they're gonna have a Zelda Maker now?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that. So, what did you see? What were the things? Some of the things you saw?
Well, I don't try to do too much at April Fool's because you wonder if it's true or not, or does somebody trying to pull your leg. But but there's just one YouTuber called Gaijin Goomba who's very.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he does a lot of videos about Japanese culture and other countries.
Right. He's the Goomba. His avatar is this Goomba with a samurai sword, right?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
He was going to do like Wish Ninja, which is like he literally will dissect a ninja video game character and tell you how accurate they are. Ooh. And he was going to do Sub-Zero. Well,
oh God.
and most of the videos are like 10, 20 minutes long. It was only like 3 minutes long. I was like, I didn't see how long it was because it was in my notification. It's like, a new Wish Ninja. And I didn't see the last part. It was April Fool's joke. And I was like, is this it? I was embarrassed.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah. So I got goofed on this year's April Fool's Day. this year.
Gosh. Yeah, I'll tell you probably the one thing that pissed me off the most was not any single video, was the fact that before I go into this, one of the reason why I have a YouTube subscription list on YouTube is I subscribe to people who feed me information for my daily news. I don't go and watch a news channel 9 or 12 or anything like that to go watch my news. No, I plug in my computer, I turn it on, I open up my web browser, and I go YouTubing for about 30 hours. Not 30 hours, 30 minutes, excuse me. But, that's where I get my news, is from YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And that whole day, I couldn't find a single damn video that wasn't some kind of prank. I was seeing some unbelievable stuff, like 5G signal, the latest 5G signal that's coming out, and you get it for free on your mobile phone. And I was like, oh my God, this is so great. And then I started, and then one of the first things that they said in the video, I actually watched the video, okay? I'm a dumbass. I am gullible. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. You might have to bleep that last part.
I don't care.
Yeah. Anyhow, so I am super gullible, okay? So I watched the video, and one of the first big red flags was they said that any 3G and 4G phone can accept 5G signals. I was like, what? Wait a minute. Are you serious? Either this is the most either this is the most amazing undercutted discovery in the history of history, or you're full of crap. And then I clicked, and then at that point I zoomed to the end, and he acted like it was still real. And so then I went to the video description, the details page underneath the video, and it was like, oh yeah, you can get all this, and then like 9 paragraphs down later, oh, by the way, April Fools, and I was like, what? Oh my God.
Well,
and it was like that for every dang video. Game Explain, Nintendo. I mean, let's see here. Many of the tech reviewers I go to, Angry Joe got into the act. Just about anybody and everybody who ever had a subscription to me had the intention of pissing me off that day.
Well,
now the one thing that I must sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, it sounds like you had a very bad day.
See, and it wasn't until much later that evening when I went to the mall that everyone said, yeah, you see, that's the reason why I stay off the internet on April Fools. And I was like, you know what? That's probably what I should have done.
Yeah.
But there was one cool thing. Only one cool thing that happened on April Fools.
And what would that be?
The online MMO, the online MMORPG that I play called Star Trek Online.
Oh yeah.
They got into the act, and this was beyond amazing. Okay, they didn't piss me off. They made my friggin' day. They did something so minor that if you didn't catch it trying to patch, unless you had such a slow internet that you were on dial-up, you would not notice the patch. Okay, because the patch would only be like a half of a microsecond. Okay,
like a snap of the finger type thing.
The patch was only 2.5 megabits in size.
Oh, that's small.
Okay, all right, but what it did was it added a subtract. It added a replacement track of small, like half a second audio sounds in replacement of the in-game sound effects.
Oh yeah.
Now, all of these sound effects that were the replacements that they put in were literally voiceovers of the devs' voices. Like, whenever you would close out whenever you would close out a window or a settings page in the game, it would have one of those dee dee dee, one of those Star Trek sounds, right?
Yeah.
Well, you do it on April Fools, and it does this. Beep boop. Blip 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 blip. In a guy's voice. It wasn't even a synthesized voice. It was just a guy's voice going beep boop. And then whenever it gets better. If you fire off a weapon, it's like pew pew, and I was like, oh my god, this is the best prank ever. And then if you beam up to your ship, it's like, and then whenever you for any of those non-techies, basically whenever you go full speed in space, they call it full impulse. If you engage full impulse, it will say engage. Oh my god, there was a sound effect for everything, and it was unbelievably cool. Like, because here's the thing: whenever I was in space and all my beams were firing, it did a voiceover sound effect for every beam that fired, and I was having 8 firing every second.
Oh my god!
And I was like, oh, it was glorious candy to my ears. The entire time I was laughing my head off. There was technically a cassette tape in the bottom right corner of the screen that you could click the cassette tape to go back to normal sound effects. I was like, no way, man. I'm keeping this. Can we just have this all year? Oh, that made my day. That made my day. I love them. That was the best April Fool's joke ever.
Oh yeah. I mean, I thought, you kind of expect, some game companies, to pull a little prank here and there, but but not to that level.
It was the best prank ever.
I know.
Oh my god!
I think that theirs were taking an idea from Hideo Kojima or something.
It wouldn't shock me.
I mean, knowing how crazy his games can be and how he can hide a project like Metal Gear Solid 5 from his fans.
Right. Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it felt like the whole day was full of none of the great pranks, but I mean, like, I remember IGN a few years back. They did a small prank. You remember Titanfall, the original one?
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. That was a game changer.
Yeah.
Titanfall back then was the first. It was one of its kind. It was one of a kind where you could actually play as a gigantic mech. Now, granted, it was basically you had to wait a while in order to summon your mech, but still, it was a first-person shooter that had a mech combat system. It was almost unheard of.
Yeah. Well, apparently one of the guys at IGN decided to pull a prank that's saying, "Oh, we're going to have Optimus Prime as DLC in the game."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Okay." And
wait. Who is DLC?
Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime.
Yes.
Okay, now I've heard everything.
I mean, like, if that was going to be real, I'll say, take my money. I'll pay for the DLC.
No. You see, the reason why it didn't happen is because on the day of the voiceover, the Optimus Prime voice actors, literally, he was supposed to say, "Autobots roll out." He said, "Autobots bail out."
Oh yeah. I just can't imagine how I fall. I think that one's the last one I really fall for, but
Oh, right.
Until the Gaijin Goomba one.
I think just from now on, with the vast amount of online resources that people have at their disposal just to prank stuff, I think we should pretty much blacklist April 1st for now and forever as the day that we forever spend offline.
Yeah, it should be a national day off of the internet day.
Yeah, the National Anti-Internet Day. That would be the greatest thing ever. And the greatest prank ever.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, there has been a lot of great, April Fool's Day pranks that, companies pulled over us. I mean, like, I can't really think of some good ones, but, like, of course, what Star Trek did. But, it just amazes me on, like, how serious we take things nowadays. When, here's a new game that's coming out, and it looks so amazing, and you say, "Oh, April Fools," and people get angry.
Well, they take advantage of the idea that most people don't believe in the tried and true statement of if it's too good to be true, it usually is.
Yeah.
Most people don't believe that, and we've been trained to believe that. The reason being is because now, the majority of the time when we get announcements, we don't get them from the actual companies. We get it in forms of leaks, rumors, and reveals that are coming from other people who are leaking the source from the source.
Yeah, I mean, I've always just said I take rumors with a grain of salt because, this could be a guy who wants attention, or he's just trying to, one up us on saying, this game that was announced, it's actually a next installment of this franchise. And I'm like, how can you confirm it? No, but if you do this, it aligns perfectly with the title. I'm like, okay.
Now, here's the thing that kind of upsets me when it comes to rumors is, and the reason why it upsets me is because there's no way around it. And that is whenever a leaker says that, "Oh, well, by the way, I heard from the grapevine that this, and this is happening, but I can't tell you my source because they wish to remain anonymous."
Yeah,
now the reason why there's no way around it is because that can actually happen.
True.
People who leak this stuff, half the time, whenever it's true, it's because it's being leaked by one of the people responsible for the development or in the companies of said game or software, and they don't want to get fired because that's a breach of contract.
That is true.
But like I said, it sucks because what that also means is that we have no way of identifying whether the guy is saying the truth or not.
Well, and here's one thing. I have been, highly anticipated for, the Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, yeah. God, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I love that game.
Yeah, when they first released the trailer back in 2013, and we haven't heard anything for 5 years until last year at E3.
Mm-hmm.
And at times I was getting, worried, but when I rewatched the trailer, I saw the hidden messages. Oh, it'll be ready. It'll be done when it's ready, or when it's ready.
It'll be ready when it's ready. It'll be done when it's done.
Yeah. I mean,
we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. I mean, if it takes 5 years to make a, good quality game, then yeah, I'm for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, take EA, for example. Look at what they did by rushing Anthem.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you've heard, but recently, in the past 24 hours, an investigative journalist actually uploaded a huge article on what he's discovered on the behind the scenes of what went on during the development of Anthem.
Yeah, I heard that report on the Review Tech USA.
Yeah, it was a cluster mess, to say the least. to say the least. And basically, it turned out that even though that they can claim that it was 6 years of development, but it turned out that the only real serious part of the development took place 12 to 16 months before the release of the actual game.
Yeah.
Which means anywhere from 5.5 years, from anywhere from 4 years and 8 months to a solid 5 years where they were twiddling their thumbs, no idea, pre-production, had no idea what the hell they were doing, and were just wasting everyone's time.
Yeah, and also people are saying that Bioware is on the chopping block if their next game's not a success. But
are you kidding? I don't think it's just Bioware. I think that the domino effect has already started. I think that Bioware, if they go under, EA is going to get a crucial hit on top of all the crucial hits that they've already been taking.
Yeah.
And any more companies like that being affecting EA, and EA is going to be on the chopping block.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to see good companies, be with bad management because I have, worked on a bad manager at one time, and let's just say, doesn't matter how much, they get complaints from the unions, they'll still keep them. I mean, I want good management to manage a good company, not bad management, because we all know that's going to be a bad idea. I mean, BioWare was a good company by itself until they got, consumed, bought out by EA, and I was getting worried back when it was bought by EA because EA has a reputation of killing good companies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They'll take a company in and say, "Hey, we approve your idea," and then 6 months to 2 years later, they say, "Hey, we don't like where you're going with this. Let us take over." And then they take over, and then all of a sudden, they start replacing all staff with their staff, and then after that, they say, "Okay, we're canceling your game, and by the way, say goodbye to your company."
It just sickens me to say that EA was once a good company, now it's just a disaster.
Well, EA was an okay company. I wouldn't say they were a good company, but I say they were an okay company back before the big consoles like the GameCube, the Xbox, and stuff like that. Back in the original days where we had PS1, Nintendo 64, and the Sega Dreamcast, that was the last big generation where EA really shined.
Yeah. I mean, they had a lot of great games. I mean, up to maybe about I believe the PlayStation 2, Xbox, original Xbox
Mm-hmm.
era, because I mean they were still making good games, but it's just that they felt they lacked the polish that they once
Yeah.
had.
And let's not forget the biggest thing that EA has adopted that has pretty much made them enemy number one of the entire world, and that is the idea and lucrative resource that is microtransactions, specifically loot boxes.
Yeah. And it just kind of hard to say this, but EA just got greedy, and look what's happened to it.
Well, I mean, it's no surprise what happened after they tried to turn probably one of the biggest resources in the entertainment industry, Star Wars, into a glorified Las Vegas center.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when that happened, I mean, everybody was like, "Oh no, you didn't." Yeah, we're gonna start, and it got the attention of everybody. United States was one of the later countries to get involved, and there are investigations worldwide still going on whether or not loot boxes are legal or should be legitified, and it's all thanks to EA.
Yeah, I mean, some countries and regions have rules that are illegal, but some companies are fighting, saying, "Oh, they're not." But we're not going to get that discussion. But yeah, I purchased the original the EA Star Wars Battlefront. I thought it was an okay game, but when Battlefront 2 came out, it lacked the heart.
Right.
I mean, it was just. I'm more. I mean, yeah, it has a single player. I've only been playing the multiplayer aspect. I mean, yeah, I'm thinking about maybe playing the campaign that has in it, but I just don't know.
Yeah. Now, I'll say this much though, just real quick. I don't remember if it was Belgium or one of the other foreign countries, but one of them had a big enough piece of the pie that they tried to ban all the loot boxes and all gambling that from all of EA's franchises in their country. It was some company was part of Europe or something. Anyhow,
country. I think it was Belgium.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyhow, Belgium literally took EA and said, "If you don't agree to this, you were going to be seeing us in Belgium court." Now, normally you'd think, "Oh, well, EA is going to back out or stop selling stuff in Belgium because, they're not stupid enough to go to court." Wow. And yeah, that's what you'd be saying whenever you realized EA actually tried to fight it.
Yeah, they did.
And they lost. Heavily.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it shows that their ego is getting the best of them nowadays.
Well, it's not just their ego. It's their investors. Their investors want more money and more money now. That's all they care about. They don't care who they have to stab, how many people's lives they have to ruin. They just want more money in their wallets right now.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this. I probably only purchased like a few loot boxes, and I hate to say this, they're not worth it. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get. I mean, it's not very helpful. I mean, you got people that will probably spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on these loot boxes just to get an advantage.
Right.
And I would like, these loot boxes, they're nothing but, form of gambling. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get that highly rare item that you've been spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on. It's just not worth it.
Well, the key thing that you must understand about loot boxes, they're not going to implement a loot box system if they want to make it easy to get the good stuff. They want to purposely make it hard so that way you will constantly put more money in trying to get that ultimate item.
Yeah.
Now, here's the scary part. Every single company that has a game that has a loot box system in it has a glorified, and I do mean literally glorified, section in their team whose sole purpose is to analyze gamers' psyche to identify what is it that makes things addictive and implement that stuff into the loot box system.
Yeah.
It is literally organized specifically to make you addicted to buying those loot boxes.
Yeah, I'm surprised I'm not addicted to them right about now.
I'd be addicted to them if I didn't realize soon enough that, yeah, it's a waste of time.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't give me any important items, then I'm not going to buy them.
Mm-hmm. And even to an extent, there's still every once in a while that if I get a free open of a loot box, I'll be like, I'll try my luck, but I'm not going to spend real money on it.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I am. I mean, I don't mind grinding, to unlock a loot box that costs like 50,000 credits.
As long as it's not part of the mainstream, God, what's it called? Oh man, I had it in my head.
Cosmetics.
No, I had it in my head, and just as I was about to say it, I lost it.
Same here.
What's it called? It's not called core gameplay. It's as long as it's not part of the main progression of the game.
Yeah, the main part of the game.
As long as it's not essential to the progression of the game or part of the main progression of the game, I'm okay with it. Even more so if it's just cosmetics and not essential to the progression. But the second you make it part of the progression, that's a no-no. A huge red flag.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in some games, you have to have certain updates or certain, items in order to progress. And I agree. Yeah, it may take you, half a day just to acquire all the items. And trust me, I played, some of the most recent Assassin's Creed games, especially Rogue. That was probably one of my favorite installments. You literally have to know what you need in order to have certain upgrades. Yeah, I mean,
right.
one part you gotta have an icebreaker on your ship. I didn't realize that, so I gotta go around destroy ships just to get the supplies I need to upgrade the ship. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not against that, but if it's if it forces you to have it and you have to pay for it with real money, I'm not going to invest in it.
Right. Even if it's not a random chance of getting it through a loot box, if in order to progress through the main game, if you have to put real money into it, or if it's geared to where if you want to get through any part of the game in a reasonable amount of time, you have to put money into the game, then that's a complete waste of time, and that's basically just a glorified scam that's there to just eat your money.
I agree on that, but I mean, we can say, well, this practice is a scam, that practice is a scam. Well, It pretends how you see it,
right?
I mean, if it gives you exclusive items or exclusive, or like a soundtrack, costumes, probably not much of a scam, but yeah, it's probably overpriced, but I don't know. I mean, I have to look at what you want. I mean, just show me what you're concerned about, and I'll give you my honest opinion. I mean, I really would buy the super deluxe version of some of these games that I buy. I mean, I'll just buy the standard edition, and probably in a couple years, I'll find the stuff on eBay or something and and get it for $50.
Mm-hmm.
And people are spending almost $300 on some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree.
I mean, like I said, I admit buying some legendary editions of games, but I rarely do that. I mean, I had to be like a diehard fan of the series in order to do that.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, to get some of these legendary editions that are really overpriced at decent prices, you have to pre-purchase it.
Oh yeah.
And then when you pre-purchase it, you run the risk of it actually turning out to be a bad game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look at what happened with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. It was advertised as a great game, wonderful character lineup, and great DLC announcements, and one of the best, if not greatest, custom premium rewards. You know, like statues of many of the characters.
Oh yeah.
Along with Infinity Stones that were wrapped up in a glorified, box. It was wonderful. And then day one came out and nothing but negative reviews. Everyone was like, what's going on here? Why is my game crashing? Why is it taking so long to load? And then there was apologies after apologies after apologies, delays after delays, patches after patches, and it's still not fixed.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, some of these games that have these special editions are, like when it's like the first installment of a franchise, don't have a special edition. Just don't do it.
Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna sit. Oh, okay, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, unless it's like like a season pass, then yeah, I may be buying the upgraded edition, but not really that much.
Right. Here's the thing. If you're going to have a special edition, then make sure that special edition is future-proof. So, like, if you're going to buy a special edition, for those who are ultra loyal to maybe the maybe the category of the game or maybe the series itself, make sure that special edition includes at least most of the DLC that's going to come around the corner.
Also true.
And maybe even a pre-order bonus or two. But if you're going to release a special edition, make sure that it's worth people's time and not just something that's just a quick bait and switch cash grab.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I only did it like twice, and I got the legendary edition of Halo and the legendary edition of Gears of War 3 because I like the previous installments. I thought they were good installments, and I think, I haven't played the fourth one yet, but I played Judgment. I believe that's the side story, but I'm not saying that off the top of my head.
Right.
But it's, that spinoff was a bit of a disappointment, but it was still a good game. But
now, what about you mentioned Legendary Edition of Halo? Which Halo did you buy?
Halo 3.
Okay. All right.
I meant to say Halo 3, but I just said Halo. I don't know why.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's a replica of Master Chief's head, and you can lift it up on a stand, and you can put like 3 games in there. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great.
And a while back, I went to a little convention, and I found I'm not for sure, it's probably the legendary edition, some kind of special edition of Killzone 3, where it has like a helmet of the Hellgast.
Uh-huh.
Same thing. You can put 3 games in there. Boom.
Right.
It's on the opposite of Master Chief, but yeah, it looks pretty good. I only paid like $5 or $10 for it. It was pretty cheap. Mm-hmm. And I hate it for the guy who spent $100+ on that.
Right. Well, I don't remember which Halo game it was, but there was one Halo game that it was either a pre-order bonus or it was one of those ultra exclusive limited edition ones where you actually got a wearable Master Chief helmet.
I don't remember a game that would be like a pre-order, but I think that could be something
had to have been one of the ultra limited edition. I know it was like over $200.
Yeah, it's probably either like a super ultra legendary edition. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have to look it up in order to be correct,
Right.
but I don't know.
Right. All I know is I saw it at GameStop one day. So, go figure.
Yeah, they're gonna die one day.
I hope not. I know everyone's saying that the writing's on the wall, that GameStop's in big trouble, but I seriously don't want GameStop to go under. I'm already having a hard enough time here in Oklahoma trying to find anything that sells video games at decent prices for brand new titles.
Yeah, I mean, I can go to. I mean, there's like GameStop. Usually, well, at one time there was like four like very close to me. Now is that I used to go all the time, but all but one is closed.
Well, let's count the ways. Babbage's, EB Games, and all of which were bought out by GameStop.
And FuncoLand.
Oh, FuncoLand. Let's not forget FuncoLand.
Yeah.
And then there were the local ones like Games by Sonia, and other places. And whether it been just a regular Joe, average Joe, having a used game shop, or whether it be a big time company that was just getting into the biz. I mean, there was tons to choose from.
Oh yeah. But
now all of them have been run down to where you either have even big time companies that had multiple categories like Circuit City and CompUSA. They're all gone now.
Oh yeah, I remember Circuit City, but I think the last thing I bought for them before they went under was Devil May Cry 4. I think that was a special edition. I had to look it up real quick.
At this point, at this point, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a special edition. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. At this point, there's only 4 solid locations. If you want games that are brand new, retail, guaranteed, local, there's only 4 places you can go to. GameStop, Best Buy, Target, or Walmart.
Yeah, I mean, I've been recently buying stuff from not Walmart, but Target, because, I mean, they have this like special coupons on their mobile app where you can get them literally half off at times.
Right.
And they also have like a special debit card or credit card that gives you another 5% off, so that saves you even more money.
Right. The thing is, though, I think right now the big deal about purchasing games, and the reason why a lot of these companies are going under that are just strictly local, is because of the online purchasing system.
Digital market, yeah.
Digital market. And I'm talking about places like Amazon. See here, Amazon's probably the biggest one.
eBay.
Amazon, eBay. There's several other up-and-coming websites out there that you can get games from. Like, if you want to get foreign overseas, PlayAsia.com. You can get all kinds of games from there. Yeah,
I mean, most of them are like games that are not here in the U.S., but, PlayAsia seems to be a very good site. I mean, like, I mean, they got a killer deal on a Mega Man X Legacy right now.
Oh, yeah. It's just that and it's not just the video game market that's being affected by the online by the online retailers. It's also that's what happened to Blockbuster. That's why they went under.
Oh yeah.
Redbox is in jeopardy right now.
Oh yeah.
Netflix stopped doing their shipping DVDs via the mail because of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, pretty much everything's going the way. Everything's going the way of the whale.
Way with the dodo.
Thank you. It's even better way. Everything's going the way of the dodo because of the online market system.
Exactly. I mean, not many people know this, and probably sure already know that by now, but Facebook's doing their own little marketplace. I mean, you can like get in contact with a person saying, "Hey, I'm interested in buying your item for sale." Meet them somewhere, and boom, you have it.
You know, why didn't Amazon and eBay do that? For one day, for April Fools, for one day, replace their website sign and logo with the dodo bird.
Kind of like those dodos in Ice Age.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, have the website be forwarded whenever you type in ebay.com or amazon.com. Have it forward you to the dodo.com.
God. Oh yeah,
and then have a picture of the dodo bird from Warner Brothers cartoons in there. Oh, that the dodo, the dodo, the dodo, the dodo, the dodo, the dodo, the dodo.
Man, you're on fire tonight, man.
I'm sorry. Just, but yeah, and let's not. By the way, just want to talk about something here real quick.
Sure.
While we were gone, many developments in the video game industry have come to pass. Many are rumors. Many have come to actually, be true. But I want to talk about some of them.
Okay.
So, like, first of all, right now, probably one of the biggest hot topics is the Nintendo Switch getting 2 new systems.
Oh my goodness! I mean, I've been hearing that from time to time, but I think the Switch is right now is so underpowered. It needs to be upgraded like right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. Originally, it was posted by the Wall Street Journal that we were going to get a Pro version. Then it was posted by someone else, and this is all over a period of about a year and a half up to today. That originally it was posted by Wall Street Journal we were going to get a Pro version, and then it was posted by someone else that we were going to get a slim version, not a Pro version, that was going to be slimmed down, kind of like a little 2DS version of the Switch. And by 2DS, I mean like a stripped down, more basic budget version.
Yeah,
a little bit more durable for the kiddies.
Yeah, I probably figured that.
Right. Then it wasn't until recently, about a couple months ago, when the Wall Street Journal themselves, the original spawner of this rumor, actually posted that we were not getting a Pro version, nor were we getting a slimmed down version, but we were getting both.
Yeah.
At the same time, and they said they were looking at a release.
Oh, yeah.
One thing that has been pretty much confirmed at this point through unofficial sources and through anonymous official sources is that these new versions will have greater internal storage space. It's probably one of the biggest points that they had to address, because it's getting to the point now where 32 gigabytes will take up almost the entire space for one game.
Don't get me started on how big some of these games are. I mean, like, some of these patches are just as big as the game, if not bigger.
Oh, it gets even worse. Some games, and I'm not kidding, some games, if you buy them digitally, they are literally SD card required games. And here's how they get around this. They technically allow you to buy it if you don't have an SD card included, because what they do is that they'll detect whether you have an SD card, and if you don't have one, what they'll do is they'll only let you install a small portion of the game. That's right, you only get to play like 10 or 15% of the game, and to have access to the rest of the game, because they hold it hostage, to have access to the rest of the game, you have to go out and buy an SD card. Because
Craziness.
It's bigger than the internal storage space.
I mean, I know not Microsoft, but Nintendo likes their consoles affordable. But I think, they could put a bigger hard drive. I mean, at least 500 gigabytes will do plenty.
Well, I mean, think about me being a little bit more in the know about technology like that, think about the small board that's on there. You don't have the size to fit a solid state drive in there, let alone a small hard drive, a platter drive.
Yeah.
You would have to fit like one of those flash drive chips on there for storage.
Oh yeah.
And those are super expensive right now.
Yeah.
The closest thing we have to that in the computer world is an M.2 solid state, and those are just now coming down in price.
Oh yeah.
There would have been no way for Nintendo to develop something like that with larger than 32 gigs at the time, at the price point they were trying to release it at.
Well, true, but you see, I mean, I will admit I'm a Nintendo fanboy, but I think the Wii U was the biggest disappointment of all. I bet everyone would agree on that. But when I heard of their new console, I say, "Oh, great! This is going to be the death knell. This is going to be the death knell." And then when they're showing off, then when the rumors come in, I was like, "Okay, I'm somewhat interested in it." But then when I hear it was going to be a hybrid system, I'm like, "What the hell are they thinking?" I mean, I was literally, "What the hell are these guys thinking?" But I mean,
it was the Nintendo Wii all over again.
Yeah, it was the Wii U all over again.
Not Wii U, Nintendo Wii. Remember the first time that that they announced that their new system was going to be based around motion controls, and everyone was like, "That's never going to work."
Well, I was kind of on board with the motion controls on the Wii.
Oh, I see.
But
okay.
But when I was thinking hybrid, okay, they're going to probably have a stupid pad where you're going to look at the two different screens, and it's going to cause me more problems. But when I saw it, my view changed. I mean, I think I do have a little more faith in the Switch because it's different than the Wii U.
Well, it's hard to understand things based off of text concept alone. Once it's actually exemplified with a demonstration video, it's a lot easier to understand whether or not you're going to be on board with them or not.
Well, true, but the bad thing about me is this has always been one of my many, many faults, is that I don't take rumors that serious until I see some basic evidence of its existence, like a patent or something that makes me believe that yes, this console is real.
Right.
But I do think it's when I was still hearing about the Switch, I was like, I guess I have a little faith in it, but it was not the same because somebody could be misfitting information. Somebody could be doing anything just to get attention. And I can't really, I'm always having a hard time thinking, is this real or not? Because I don't want to buy into something that's fake.
Exactly. I completely agree with you. It's really kind of, for lack of a better word, torturous. Watch these people talk about these so-called rumors and ideas of what we think it's going to be, and these ideas being so grandiose, and then all of a sudden it comes out and it's something entirely different, or we think it's going to be entirely different. It's torturous to think that, oh, well, this sounds great, but I know it's not going to be that, or I hope that it's going to be this, and it turns out that it's not. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I tread very lightly on these rumors, because I don't want, they get my hopes up, then it's not what I expected. I mean, like the whole Phantom Pain deal. I thought it was going to be a new IP. I thought it was going to be something completely different from Konami. But people were saying, oh, it's a new Metal Gear game. And they were trying to prove everything. And I tell them, I don't see the evidence. As far as I know, it could be, a new game where the people who work on the Metal Gear franchise being, working on Phantom Pain. I didn't know it was a new installment until Hideo Kojima himself said, hey, here's a new installment of Metal Gear.
Right.
And I was I mean, at times I will eat my own words. I'll take my responsibility for saying something that was not true, but I like to see I like to see new things.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that is the core reason why rumors are so popular. It's because you want to believe they're true.
Yeah, but it's just hard to believe anything nowadays. I mean, like
I know.
I just want to see. I mean, and this has happened like I don't know, like 5 or 6 years, like 5 years ago or something, that some idiot was trying to pass that Stan Lee died, and I'm like, dude, he's still alive. There's only been one post of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that guy just wanted attention, and yet when I heard he really did pass away, I felt sorry because he was an inspirational person.
Yes. I know. It was really unbelievable. Yeah, now, moving on, because, I mean, the right. Okay. Yeah, got it. So, now the thing to note here is that with the new, this should be, they said something like this is going to, if not this summer, it's going to be released this year. It's more than likely going to be announced at E3.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. E3 is probably the best time to release it. Either that or Tokyo Game Show.
Right. Now, also, and this is probably the first time that we've had this happen, in addition to Nintendo, Xbox, Microsoft is also releasing 2 consoles of their own, and they're following in line with the same exact idea as the Switch console. One is a very high professional gaming device with all the bells and whistles. And then the other one is a stripped down slim version, which is digital content only or streaming only with no disc drive. And that means no Blu-rays or whatever. And it's going to be basically a budget gaming device at much less price than the Xbox One X. And they're going to sell it that way.
Yeah, I like to see that at E3 because if they're going to do something that on that scale, they're going to have to do it at E3.
Now, out of all the things we've talked about so far, this one's the biggest and probably the most controversial.
Oh, one ear to this one.
So, we already talked about how Xbox is coming out with 2 new consoles, and so is Nintendo. But apparently, there was rumor quite a few months ago about Nintendo and Microsoft getting all buddy-buddy. And I mean like super buddy-buddy. And then all of a sudden, recently, we got Cuphead for the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, yeah.
I repeat, not for the PlayStation, but for the Nintendo Switch. And then this started things adding up. And now it's starting to come a little bit light. Now, what was the initial rumor? The initial rumor is this. Xbox Live subscription for the Nintendo Switch, Xbox Game Pass subscription for the Nintendo Switch, and stuff like Halo for the Nintendo Switch.
That's, to me, that's kind of hard to believe, but I know. I mean, like, it's up in the air with that rumor right now because I don't think an American company and a Japanese company will work together in that, capacity.
I know.
But I could be wrong, which I probably am wrong. But if it does happen, it will be a shock to everybody, including me.
Not only will it be a shock, but I think that me and a couple of friends locally, we think we've figured out if this happens, why it's happening. We figured out, pretty much came to the conclusion of why this would happen if it does. And the reason that is because Xbox is the #1 worst-selling video game console in Japan.
Well, Xbox has always had a problem with Japan because it started with the original Xbox because of the color and the name of it, if I remember right.
Right. Yeah, that controversy.
And as you know, I got a friend from Japan. His English is not perfect, but you can have a decent conversation with him. But I may have to ask him some questions about these specific things. How can like Japanese companies succeed in America, but not American companies succeed in Japan? Maybe it's just, well, I can tell you one thing. He's going to say, well, it's part of our cultural differences and what we grew up on and how loyal to our country.
Right.
Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I may ask him those questions, even show him a video that I saw that kind of answer a few of my questions and see what he thinks of that video. And I'd say, to see how accurate the claims are. But right now, I don't know what he will say because he's not here and he's at school.
Right. Now, just real quickly to finish up on my statement, why am I mentioning that Xbox is the worst console selling in Japan? Well, the reason why is because the Nintendo Switch is the best selling console in Japan right now. Now, if you put 2 and 2 together, and then you add in the mixture of Xbox games being released on Nintendo Switch, then it becomes clear that it's being done so Xbox can get a foot in the door into the Japanese market.
Yeah, that's the only reason I can think of.
Because, I mean, if they can't sell the console, why not just sell the games?
Yeah.
It sounds like a pretty safe strategy.
That's a good strategy, but also a little risky because you just don't know how, because you're going to have I bet some of these people will be like, why are this foreign console is on this console? I mean, I can't process my thought right now because it's just, it's so confusing right now.
I know it is. And the whole idea of what we used to know as the console wars, the line is getting blurred more and more every day right now.
Yeah, I mean, with cross console play, that's been big, especially with Nintendo and
Xbox.
Yeah, PlayStation, they haven't done anything with that.
I know. Well, technically they have made some strides. They fought long and hard for the longest time, to the point where they were even holding some people's Fortnite games, Fortnite's accounts hostage. But they finally caved and they said, okay, fine, we'll work on adding crossplay with some titles and not all. It's going to be, specific to whatever so-called developer wants it. And I guarantee you that's a bunch of BS. It's not about the developer, because all the developers want it. What it's all about is whether or not Sony will allow them.
Yeah, and we can have a whole video dedicated to Sony's actions lately, but that's another time.
Yeah, but here's the thing. About the Xbox and Nintendo, there's also one other thing that to take advantage of Xbox basically dumping their best stuff on Nintendo's backyard and saying Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
There's one other thing to take from this, and that is that people are now taking the notion that Cuphead and the likes, and with crossplay of Xbox and Xbox being so-called buddy-buddy with Nintendo, as a sign that we could get things like companies who Microsoft owns, like Rare, to release some of Nintendo's favorite icons like Banjo-Kazooie in Smash.
Don't forget about GoldenEye.
Well, now, as much as I want to say I agree, the problem is GoldenEye is in an entirely different league. Believe it or not, Rare is not the sole proprietor for that game.
Well, yeah, I know this is a licensed game, but it's like one of their main properties that people want to.
Yes, it is their most popular game ever.
Well,
the problem is that
well,
go
actually
ahead.
saying it's probably going to be the biggest issue because I think MGN owns the James Bond's license or 007 license.
Yes, it is MGM. The problem is that the license for GoldenEye right now is in digital limbo.
Yeah.
No one knows what has happened to the license, who owns it, or why.
Yeah.
And because of that, there's no way to actually acquire permission to use it.
Yeah. I mean, there's been some games people want for years, but they can't do it because of other legal restraints, and they can't do it because of these restraints. And yes, you can cry like a little girl as much as you want, and you still won't get them. I mean, there's a long list in my head that I don't want to start naming off games, but that people want to see these games to be on, the PlayStation Network, or they want to be on Xbox Live. I mean, even the Nintendo's digital market. I mean, like, I bet you there's probably a lot of games that people want to have to play.
Or maybe digital remasters. It doesn't have to be the original game. It could be digital remasters or spiritual successors.
Well, they recently, earlier this year, they re-released Unimusha, an HD version, and at first I thought it was just rumors, but apparently they did remaster it, HD. But I mean, apparently they're working around all the legal issues with that game.
Then again, there's so many other games that people want to get the remastered treatment, but due to, like you said, licensing, we can't get it done.
Yeah,
at least not currently.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think there's like, I don't want to go too far. I don't want to go too deep in this rabbit hole, but like I said, yeah, there are legal restraints that these companies are having, but at least from my point of view, I can see why they're not being released digitally because of these restraints, or maybe there was something wrong with the company doesn't exist anymore. I mean, like, how many games that were on the original PlayStation are not on the PlayStation Network?
Right.
I mean, some of these companies between 1995, since 1995, they probably went under, and we forget that.
Now, we're getting close to running out of time here, but I just want to wrap up the category here real quick.
Yeah.
The thing to keep in mind here, though, is that all of this that about these rumors for new consoles, for Game Pass on Nintendo Switch, and all this other stuff, apparently the red letter date for all of this to be announced, or at least clarified somewhat, is E3.
Yeah.
And with the anticipation of all these rumors to be glorified or, become true, we could be looking at probably one of the biggest E3 events ever.
Yeah, I mean, last year was, pretty big, especially what Sony did with the Resident Evil 2 remake. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but you got to hand it to Xbox, though. Xbox, over 80 games that they announced. Yeah. But
yeah,
go ahead.
I mean, yeah,
you were saying about Sony?
Well, yeah, Sony had a good lineup. And of course they announced, the Resident Evil 2 remake. I mean, they did I think this could trump that, but until we start seeing, rumors confirmed, or some form of confirmation that, hey, these games really do exist, and here's the release date. I think right now, and put it nicely as we can, I think we just had to wait and see because sometimes people can be pulling the wool over our eyes. I mean, like, people want Death Stranding out to be this year, but Hideo Kojima hasn't said very much about it here on social media. I mean, I follow the guy. I follow his English account, and he hasn't said much about it.
I'll say this about the E3 and the topic that we've been talking about. If at least 60 to 70% of all the rumors actually become true, at E3, PlayStation's in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
PlayStation is in big trouble. Now, there is one thing that I must say about PlayStation. Right now, the only thing that they've got going for them in terms of new features is the rumor that the PlayStation 5 will be backward compatible with all PlayStation systems console-wise. PS3, PS4, PS3, PS2, and PS1. Yeah, that is the biggest rumor. Now, recently, the president and vice president of Sony PlayStation Entertainment have swapped places. The original CEO was the guy that was pushing for backwards compatibility. The vice president, who is now the CEO, wants to abandon backwards compatibility entirely, calling it a, I quote, waste of time.
I wouldn't go that far saying it's a waste of time, but I mean, just think about this. If I have right now a PS3, they can play original PlayStation games, okay? Where I don't care, doesn't matter if they're digital or physical, I can play them. I think having one console that can play numerous systems from your catalog is a good idea.
Not only is it a good idea, but it would be the damn best way to counter all the stuff coming their way from Nintendo and Xbox.
Well, I think backwards compatibility should be a standard feature in all consoles from now on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And for heaven's sakes, come on. If you owned it on a previous system digitally, and then you come out with a newer console, and it's also going to be available for that console digitally, unless it's like a newer version, and even so, either give us a discount to transfer it to the newer system, or just acknowledge that we owned it previously.
Exactly.
Don't just have us pay for it all over again. That's irresponsible.
And how many times do you pay for the same game on different systems? At least 3.
Yeah, well, it's not just Sony that's done this. It's Xbox has done this to an extent, and Nintendo, believe it or not, is the biggest red flag here.
Yeah, I say Nintendo did that to you a lot with all the systems.
Nintendo did that with the Wii. And I mean, the biggest was the Wii, because the Wii was the first console to have an online digital market store. Yeah. Then, whenever they had the Wii U, you could technically transfer your games to the Wii U, but it was only in Wii mode. That was entirely separate from the Wii U. It was a dual-booted system. You had to turn off your system and boot it into Wii mode, which made it basically no different than a Wii. But in that mode, you can't access any of your Wii U stuff. And then they started coming out with HD versions of the Wii content on the Wii U side. But guess what? To access this content, you have to buy it all over again.
Oh, yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And then the same thing happened with the PS3 versus the PS4, because the PS3 at the time was incompatible with PS4 and still is today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think I had too much of a problem with Microsoft, and they're backwards compatible, at least digitally, because, I mean, I'm slowly but surely getting some of my games that I have digitally on my 360 on my Xbox One, so I don't think there's too much of a problem with that right now, but
honestly, if you don't mind me interjecting here,
go ahead.
The only real problem Microsoft has had is the original Xbox titles. For the longest time, those titles didn't have a digital release.
Well,
And
yeah.
And the only way to play them was if they were backward compatible and through the disk drive of the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
The Xbox 360 titles, if you owned them digitally, once they become backward compatible with the Xbox One, that purchase transfers over no problems without having to buy anything else.
I think what was in the last few months, they're now actually having digital games that are from the original Xbox on the marketplace.
It's actually been the past 4 months that they've done this. And yes.
I knew it was the last 6 months. Yeah, I knew it was
and they announced it at E3 last year. It's just that they took their sweet time implementing it, but they finally did.
Yeah.
And it's been wonderful.
Yeah, some of the games are classic, but some of them are not like the most big name, franchise killers of the system.
But they are getting to them. They are getting to them. Like there's some out there, like Star Wars is a big contender in the original Xbox titles that they are offering. They got Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, and the likes.
Yeah, I got those games digitally now.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and let's not forget Xbox's very, very, very welcomed Xbox Live Gold Games with Gold subscription, because it does something that none of the others do. And I just recently became aware of this.
Well,
PlayStation.
I've been a gold member for over 10 years, and I think I got every single game they've released for free.
Well, here's the thing. Get this. PlayStation, their games, their free games, no matter which system it's on or whatever, you have to have an active subscription to play the games, okay?
Yeah, I know.
All right? Xbox is slightly different. And I say slightly because, get this, on Xbox, I recently found this out and confirmed it. With Xbox games, if it's an Xbox One game, then you have to have an active subscription to play it. You don't own it permanently. You just own it as long as you have an active subscription.
Yeah.
However, if it's an Xbox 360 or an Xbox original title, once you claim it for free under the Games with Gold, you own it permanently and can play it with or without the subscription.
Yeah, I got a lot of original. I got a few original, but I got a lot of 360 games with the Games with Gold. So yeah, I think I may just start playing them now.
So that means that even if you don't subscribe, you can subscribe for just that 1 month if you've got a 360 or an original Xbox game that you really, really want to own. And once you claim them through the gold, you own them permanently, and you can play them after that month without having to renew your subscription.
Yeah, I think that's a very good idea for what Microsoft did, but
it's incredibly good, it just keeps adding people to resubscribe because those games are like between $7 and $15 a piece, and they could even be $20 a piece.
Actually, it's 4
value.
Games.
Huh?
It's 4 games a month.
No. I'm talking about just the 2 backward compatible games that they release a month.
Well, I thought. Well, if you're talking about in total, it's 4 games a month.
No. I'm not talking about in total. Every month they release 4 games, 2 Xbox One games, and an Xbox 360 title and an original Xbox game. That's the way they've been for the past 4 months.
Yeah.
Now, I'm talking about the Xbox original and the Xbox 360 games that they release every month, and just those alone.
Yeah.
The Xbox 360 titles, those could range anywhere from $10 to $20 in value from the store. The original titles can range anywhere from $7 to $15 in value, depending upon the title.
Yeah.
And so, only subscribing for just $10 for that 1 month, you claim both of those, it's worth it.
Yeah, I pay $60 a month. Not a year. And
you get oodles and oodles of free games.
Yeah, I get 48 games a year for free. And that's like several $100s worth of games for $60.
I know. And then on top of that, they recently announced that with Game Pass, their online subscription service, that all future titles that are going to be brand new titles for the Xbox will also premiere at the same day on Game Pass.
Yeah, they've been doing that for quite some time now.
Well, I heard about it just within the past 2 months.
Yeah, that's when I heard about it a couple of months ago.
Yeah, but I mean, just, oh my gosh. Even PlayStation Now doesn't have that kind of credibility.
Yeah, I know.
So,
well,
but we've been talking for a very long time.
Almost an hour and a half, hour 20.
Yeah, I know. This is going to be a wonderful episode once we upload it.
Yeah, once it's uploaded, we'll just it take me a little time to put the title in, but it shouldn't take me too long.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that pretty much wraps it up. Unless you got anything.
No, let's try to do this more often because we need to just have some fun, just have a few laughs, talk about old stuff, that we still like, and just be ourselves. I mean,
I think I can safely say that right now, for everyone listening to this broadcast, we're going to discuss it between me and my good buddy here.
Oh yeah.
For a little bit, and we'll update you. But right now, I think that I would like to settle on about one video every 2 weeks.
Yeah, 1 or 2 weeks sounds a good idea for me.
So basically, 2 videos a month.
Yeah.
So,
we'll probably do a special episode like the week before and the week after E3.
Of course.
Or
absolutely.
Or the Friday after E3 because we need to talk about everything that we saw.
Oh yeah, E3's fun time, fun time.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what we need to. We need some regularity on this. We need some consistency.
Yeah, consistency, and I may be doing some independent stuff on this channel, but I'm not 100% sure yet because I'm thinking about doing debates with friends and family about culture because I had very interesting conversations with my grandmother. I mean, she is wise, okay, and she is just ashamed of how stupid some young people are nowadays. I mean, yes, I'm not as intelligent as she is, but
I don't think stupid is the right word. I think what you mean is uneducated.
Oh yeah, uneducated, and they're going to college, and they still don't know how the world works.
Uneducated and misinformed. Let's just put it that way.
Oh yeah, and I've got a good friend that is in a fan group, a Ghostbusters fan group. We talked a little bit about me rewatching the first 2 films and a little bit of what we're expecting from the third installment, which we've been waiting for over 30 years.
Absolutely.
And I think we're going to have a little conversation about what our expectations are and some of the things that were in the original movies that will not fly by today's standards. Oh my goodness. That could be a conversation that will go on for hours if we wanted to, but I think about having a conversation with people for about an hour or so because it's something that we need to do because I want to have debates with other than you, Steph, because you and I, we can burn down a building and still have a good old time, right?
Burn, baby, burn, Disco Inferno.
Yeah, you're talking to a guy who likes to burn a pile of trash.
Oh gosh, but yeah, so like I said, I think we'll when we have a update, we'll make a short, 5-minute video keeping you guys updated. And that should come within probably about a week or 2 from now, and that will hopefully have all the information that you're wanting about our schedule. I would like to keep it to a certain day of the week every. So, but
Tuesday sounds for me. Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Well, either Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll see. But anyhow, I don't want to go into too much because we haven't solidified it yet. So
yeah.
Anyhow,
we're just 2 idiots who don't know what to do.
No, we're two idiots with grand ideas and things to talk about that don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, I do a lot. I mean, like right now, we're trying to build me a PC, and lucky you had a good friend that found a better deal on some of the parts. I can tell you that. And
Yeah.
I just posted a post on the blog popculturefeedback.com about me building my PC and building my first PC and my expectations on the pride and joy that I would have building this thing together.
And then you finally built it, and it's like blue screen of death after blue screen of death after blue screen of death, and you're like, what the heck happened?
Hey, at least we won't end like how The Verge did their PC.
Oh, Lord.
Bad memory?
We're not going to go into that.
All right, let's just leave it at this. We're going to update you guys one way or the other, so just check it out. But I'm definitely be doing some interviews on people that I consider close friends and all. So, and who knows, Stealthbat and I may be seen in person for once or something.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah, so you can see how unattractive that we are.
Oh God! Don't even. No. Don't set their expectations too high. We might disappoint them.
Hey, I don't even. Hey, I got the worst beard that I've ever seen. Okay, I got like patches of bald spots on my cheeks. I'm like, why did I grow a beard in the first place?
This is a little bit too risque for such a video like this, where we're supposed to talk about video games and pop culture.
I know.
Not how many hairballs you have on your whiskers.
I know. So, see you later, Sal.
All right, sounds good.
All right, see you later, man.
Stealthbat.
All right, Stealthbat. See you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.